Minasan konnichiwa, Stanley Desu. Thank you for joining all of us here at the Tokyo Anime Fair.
Not the Tokyo Anime Fair, it's the OKKO Anime Club.
That's the boring.
Yeah, OKKO Anime Club. They got it wrong.
Friggin' Stanley, man, what a genius. Hello.
I'm so sad that the best bit is at the end.
I'll skip to it. Hang on, guys, you got to listen to it. Just Stanley listening to Japanese Stanley speaking Japanese should make me irrationally angry, but it doesn't. It makes me irrationally happy, just because he said
all the adventure. Heroman wo yoroshiku.
What a legend. Hello everyone, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this, the 5th OKKO Anime Club. With this week we are talking about Heroman. And as always, I am joined by Ebby, aka Bizarre Jelly 5, and Alan, aka Backashift, as we talk about this show. And yeah, and I have lost myself again. Unfortunately, there was actually going to be 4 of us today. Stan Lee was going to come on the show and talk to us about it, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. So we tried to get Nino, aka Jimmy, instead, and unfortunately he couldn't make it either. So it's just 3 of us again. But never mind, we're gonna go at this as we would always do. So here we go with Heroman! Engage!
But before we kick things off, we do have a little message that our man Jimmyster has left for us, and he's very sorry that he's not able to be here.
I was really looking forward to meeting Jimmy, like properly.
Yeah, because
it's a shame.
It is a very serious reason as to why he's not here. So no one blame him, no one get mad at him. We all forgive him.
We'll have him on for another episode at some point.
Here is a message from Jimmy. Heroman is a fun ride, but it's pretty bland at times. It really needs a dub, but it's a noble effort to merge the cultures of anime and American comic books. So there you go. And that's the end of this week's Anime Club. Next time we're doing 3.
Bye. Just to give a little bit of background on Heroman, like I mentioned before, it was produced by Studio Bones, but it was produced in collaboration with Stan Lee himself. He wrote the basic concept of the story, which was then fleshed out by the studio, and he kind of had it was like a creative director sort of role over the course of its development. So Stanley kind of is a big part of why this show exists. I can only imagine he like bumped into someone from Bones in an elevator or something and went, "Stanley Desu," and then they were like, "Oh, we should make an anime," and then they did.
Yep. And so he gave them a rough story, and then every like 2 weeks or so he'd wander in and go, "You should put a big American flag in that scene."
More
I
American
reckon
flags.
that'd spice things up a bit.
I should be in every episode drinking coffee.
Oh god.
That's such a good thing. It's amazing.
When he makes his appearance for the first time, I'm like, of course it's Stanley. Why wouldn't it be Stanley?
Emily and I were watching it together, and I was like, once you get about an episode or so in, you might see someone who you'll recognise. And she'd be like, I don't know, have I seen him yet? And I was like, no, just keep waiting, have I seen him yet? And then I was like, yes, you have seen him, but you've seen the back of him, just wait a little bit longer. And then she was just like, is that Stan Lee?
Yep, that's Stanley.
I can only think, like, if anyone else kind of self-inserted themselves into so much work as he does, it would be really obnoxious and annoying, but Stanley just gets away with it every single time.
He's just allowed to, of course he is.
He's allowed to because he is just like the god of comic culture.
He is the progenitor of Marvel.
Did any of you guys notice the subtle Marvel references that were in the show as well?
Yeah?
I'm not really a fan of
one of them.
Comic books and Marvel.
Was it the spider?
No, it was the name of the Scrug.
Oh, Kogor?
No, them being the Scrug.
Oh, the Scrug.
Referencing the Skrulls.
When they're in the sewers, I can't remember what episode it is, but when they're in the sewers leading to go under the Scrug base, there's a spider in the corner, and it is the spider from Spider-Man that gives Peter Parker his powers.
Oh man!
And then there's a bit where Hilly, the guy who owns the cafe, is talking about, what is it? When they're talking about the ghost.
Yeah.
He mentions it could be someone with psychic powers, and it's like, oh, psychic powers, and Stanley's like, you shouldn't make fun of psychic powers, man. That shit'll mess you up. Probably being a reference to X-Men.
Right. With this kind of little peppering of referencing and all that out of the way. Yeah, I want us to kick this off with our usual.
You want to start?
Think of it.
You want to start?
I want to start with you because you are the only one who hadn't actually properly finished and seen it before.
Okay, I'm gonna explain my story. Cam's story of Heroman. So, Heroman aired in 2010, as pretty much everyone here already knows. And during that time, I was the chairman of the Wolverhampton University Anime Society. And I was ultra hype for Heroman because at the time I was really big into comics as well. Anyone who's seen my video on the Ms. Marvel figure, I kind of talk a little bit about how I was massively into comics at that point in my life. And it was still a very big part of my life then. Not so much anymore, but it's still cool. But anyway, yeah, so obviously finding out that Stan Lee did an anime thing with Bones, who I'd kind of recently came to know with quality and stuff, I was just like blown away by the idea of it. Put the first episode on in club, loved it, thought it was amazing, then I was like, oh, that's wicked, I'm gonna watch it. But I still wasn't in the habit of watching like seasonal stuff week by week, so then I just didn't watch it for ages. Finally got around to watching it, got up to about episode 21, and then something distracted me. Because when it comes to me marathoning anime, I'm absolutely terrible. I will marathon it till the cows come home, but as soon as something distracts me, that's it, and I won't touch it again for ages. And Heroman has ultimately always been the series that I could never finish, because I didn't want it to end. Long story short, I absolutely love this show. It's just, I love it. It makes me happy. In my face.
I honestly didn't think you were going to come into this episode going, I was the chairman of the Wolverhampton University Society, and I finally finished Heroman after all these years, and I fucking hated it.
Shit!
You were never
Heroman, more like shitty shit man.
If you of all people were to dislike this show, the world would just spiral into a weird
just question reality as we know it.
That's just not a thing that would happen. This is like Cam the anime.
It really is, isn't it? It's like, then again, you said that about so many shows in the past, Alan, but this really is true. Like, oh yeah, it is.
I
it's
said
because
Star
we're
Driver
talking
was Cam the anime, to be honest, because it was so like flamboyant and fabulous.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, it was great.
You were the one who put me onto watching Heroman in the first place, and I was obviously a little bit more invested in my marathons than you. So.
Weren't you there when I put it on?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think we actually watched a few episodes outside of club. I seem to remember us watching more of it outside of club, but it wasn't very much.
I was gonna say, I honestly cannot remember because.
To be fair,
no.
we watched a shit ton of anime, not in club. So, but you were the one who got me into Heroman, and thank you for that, because I wouldn't think to go, Heroman, that looks like my kind of show, you know. The only reason that I probably would have gone back and watched it is because it was a Bone show. Because I like Bones.
That's why I initially watched it. After I watched Eureka 7 and got mad on that, I just kind of went on a thing where I was like, I'm going to watch like every Bones thing ever. This was one of them, and I was thoroughly impressed. Because I love this show. I watched it through, and like it is probably the most ridiculous clusterfuck combination of every cliche in the book. But it's amazing. Like, every single thing you see in Heroman is just like a trope, a thing you have seen somewhere else. It's like, it's aliens invading. It's like, their reason for invading is because they want to eat the world and there's resources. There's like, the good guy is shown as the bad guy, and he has to clear his name and everything. It's all this cliched stuff, but it's so much fun that I don't even care.
I think that it does have its faults. Like, the whole...
Oh, yeah.
The whole storyline of them needing to clear their name, and Professor Denton was just like, okay, this is how we do this. We run the fuck away.
Hey man, that arc was brilliant.
That was my least favourite part of the series.
It had flawed reasoning. I thought that
I liked the whole. I didn't like the arc in of itself, but I kind of liked the whole thing, how it kind of had.
Joey in it.
It had Dr. Minami kind of playing everything from the background, and he was sort of just like played off as this guy who was just being really annoying, and then it turned out that he was pulling all the strings the entire time, and he was just, he kind of machinated the entire thing to be a massive knob, and
yep.
Then he was. That's okay.
He was introduced that way. Like, he was introduced as this sort of like really shady scientist guy, so you knew he wasn't going to be the best character.
We'll talk about that in a bit though, because there's a specific aspect of Minami's character that I want to talk about that I really like. But yeah,
Okay.
So,
So
shall
yeah,
we start at the
start at the
first arc?
beginning.
Mhm.
Start in the first arc.
Which I thought was brilliant.
It
if I'm
was
honest.
banging, mate. It was
so good.
to me. It was probably the best. Like, it was my favourite arc, to be honest
It was.
with you.
I don't know. I'm not sure if it's my favorite arc. It was the most consistent arc for me though, because
Yeah.
it had a clear focus. It had a clear beginning.
It had
middle,
my
and end.
it had my favourite moment
Whereas-
in the entire show.
Which moment is that?
When Heroman goes mental.
Oh,
when he thinks that Joey's died.
You know when Kogor's like, you know, wails on Joey and he's all like dead on the floor, and then Heroman just goes, "Roar!" It turns like red, like Ultra
Did
Super
I just
Saiyan.
say that happens in everything? The
Yeah.
whole thing where it's just like this bad thing has happened to a person I care about. I am going nuts now, and for some reason, every time it happens, it's brilliant.
It makes I think it had more of an impact with Hero Man though, because the entire time, like I think it's episode 9 that it happens. Like the first 8 episodes, he's kind of shown as this. He's not emotionless, but he kind of is very stoic. Doesn't respond to anything unless he really has to. And then Joey gets KO'd, and he's just like, "Raw!" And even has that bit where he holds Kogor down with his leg and then pulls his wings off. He's like, "Fuck you!" Like he's got some there's like genuine malice there. It's great.
This was like one of the questions I had, because I assumed until that episode Hero Man was just Hero Man, you know, he didn't have emotions, didn't really have any attachment to Joey, was just there really, and obeyed Joey to a obeyed Joey to a degree. Well, obeyed Joey, but didn't care for him like he had his own personality and feelings.
He was a robot basically. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it wasn't like explicitly shown, but I think at various points it was kind of hinted at, like just kind of not even vocally, just from kind of like them looking at each other or whatever. You can kind of tell in a way that Hero Man is a bit more than
I'm gonna go into.
Let me just add this in. Hero Man, cutest robot ever.
Yeah, man.
In my opinion, he's
It's
adorable.
awesome. Hey, Hobo Man. One thing I will randomly just tag in is I care more about the robots in this show than any other character, except for maybe Joey.
Except for Joey, because you love him.
My two favorite characters in this show. One of them you can't even. I don't know if you could really say it's a character, and that's Hero Man and the fucking MR1. I love that little dump truck robot. He's pro. Anyway,
It's pretty amazing.
Evie, do you remember the theory that I posed to you years and years ago about something being
No.
similar to something else? Okay, I'm gonna say that at the end when we've talked about
Oh
everything.
yeah, you have told me.
Yeah.
You have told me. I just remembered.
Now that I've seen the whole thing, I've expanded on it a little bit, so I'm gonna
So you still have that theory in mind?
sort of, yeah. It's
Alright.
more just it's
I'll
more it's
throw
not a
out a
theory. It's
theory.
more of an observation that became a theory. But yeah,
I will throw out a theory that I had years ago when I actually went back and rewatched all of Hero Man. Because it's obvious from episode 1 that his parents are not around.
Mhm.
Because for whatever reason, they might be dead, they might be not there. But it's really obvious because he lives with his grandma, he smiles at the little photo of assuming his parents, he has the little helmet and stuff.
Did you guys think for the longest time that in the photo it was Joey's dad and Joey? Because I did. I did for ages. I just thought it's just Joey, but even more womanly. And then it didn't click for ages that it was his mom, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. Never mind.
I had the theory for ages that this was all just make-believe and his way of dealing with grief. I honestly had that idea for so long. Then I thought, wait,
You seem to have that idea about everything.
I have that
You're
idea
going
about
about
that
that.
in Kino Kuni, okay?
Just two things very recently that you've told me about.
But I realised at some point that can't be right because too many people would just be playing along with it for it to seem real. So
Just play along with Joey. It's why Holly left. She couldn't deal with it. It was hurting her feelings, so she
saying
had to
that
leave.
aliens are coming and I need to just fuck off. Bro. I'll be back in 4 years. But yeah.
Was it actually explicitly shown what happened to his mum? Did I
No.
just glaze over that?
I think they like Holly
They
vaguely.
saw her grave.
Yeah.
But how did she die?
Holly
Exactly.
kind of. Holly
was
vaguely
that-
said something along the lines of she essentially like worked herself to death. Worked herself to death because their dad wasn't around, who I've forgotten the name of. What the hell is his
Brian.
name? Brian. Brian wasn't around, and yeah, she just kind of. I think she had to work super hard to support her kids, and she
I
kind
think
of
there was
got
that
ill
other
and
thing as
died.
well where she never showed grief around
Yeah.
the kids. And she would always like cry by herself and stuff. Because I thought the first time I watched this that maybe she killed herself, but I don't think that's the case now that I've rewatched it. Because she obviously cared a lot about Joey and Holly, so she wouldn't have done that.
Well, that, and I don't think they put something that morbid in this show, because it is very kind of innocent in theme.
But I didn't pick up on that theme when I was watching it the first time.
Mm.
It's just kind of like it's the whole reason why his dad like getting blown up by dynamite in a mine is acceptable to that theme. It's just because it is all about that rooted whole thing of heroism. And it's like he died as a hero.
I think the most sinister part of the entire series is when Lena gets kidnapped.
Which time?
No, I mean like that one time where she actually gets abducted by people.
Oh.
And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna get ransom money." I think, well, just from like the connotations of that and stuff. I thought that was.
I guess why I don't think that's overly like serious, or the word you said that I've now forgotten. Sinister. Or whatever. Sinister is just because that is another one of those cliches. And that's why I think it fits. What
I was saying is because you were saying that the Heroman isn't the kind of show that would introduce kind of like themes of suicide and stuff like that, and I think that's probably like the theme of like being kidnapped, and the fact that they say stuff along the lines of, "Oh yeah, well if your dad coughs up the money, we won't rough you up too much." I think that was kind of the closest thing to the bar that they were willing to go.
Yeah. Oh, I can
that scene was so cool though, because it was the bit where Joey was stood in front of the car and then the car started getting lifted up and it was like, oh!
Oh, it's a robot!
Okay. Shall we roll this back though?
Yes.
And then start
We're getting over. We're doing a Gatchaman crowds again when we just start like jumping around the series.
The thing with Heroman, it is very segregated into its arcs, so we can go for that. So going back to the first arc, I liked the whole presentation of the world and everything, and I just honestly really quite enjoyed this new rehash of the old aliens are invading. Their reasons for invading are they want to eat the planet to survive. And
it's very simple.
Yeah, KOGO being this kind of like, he was a believable villain. I liked KOGO because he was literally just like, yeah, I want to eat everything and be a big fly.
But we're missing the fact that this is all Denton's fault because he decided, he wanted to talk to aliens, and then the aliens came and they
did this.
Fucked shit up, basically.
I never asked for this.
Just nobody blames him the entire series except himself.
Apart from himself, he was like, "This is all my fault. Oh my god, what have I done? I've just killed the world."
This Denton's amazing.
I have one.
I can forgive the guy because he's wonderful.
Yeah, man. I have one criticism of the first arc, and that's how. Joey and like everyone are kind of supposed to be these really caring people that give a shit about everything that goes on, like Joey especially, because like the whole like way that the relationship between Joey and Will is presented is just Will is an arse and Joey is like constantly trying to like sort things out in a weird way, like because anyone else, like if you were being bullied by someone you just leave it, but no.
But
so
that's an anime cliche.
Yeah. That's not what I'm getting at though. That is the example that leads me into when the whole thing happens and like they have the fight with Will and the ball falls down and crushes everything, and then like everyone's like, "Oh my god, Will, are you okay? Oh no, Will, what happened, Will?" And Nick is just completely forgotten about. Sure, he was being an ultra twat. Fair dues, but he was just completely skirted over, and it's like they didn't care about him at all.
No, that's because Nick just wasn't important. I mean, the only reason that Will was important was because he was related to the heroine.
No, I know, but it still just felt really. It didn't gel with me because Joey's supposed to give a shit about everyone.
Yeah,
so the fact that he didn't even
really
say
obvious when when they're going to his grandma's house to see if she's all right. And the helicopter crashes, and he looks devastated.
Yeah.
That was what Joey's character was.
So the fact that he didn't even
remember what happened to Nick.
It's just assumed that he died. He died when the ball fell, and like when KOGO started fucking up the factory to try and kill them, because 01 was malfunctioning and everyone was in there. He was just like, "I'll just blow up the factory. We'll kill them all. That'll be fine." And I can only assume that Nick died there. Well, they made a point of showing his helmet being all messed up, so I think that was their way of saying he's dead.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, and then yeah, but it didn't even say his name, and then he's just never mentioned again.
I love the fact that the Scrug had the opportunity to have human subjects and then just turn them into Scrug.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
The other thing as well, if it wasn't for Nick, Heroman wouldn't even exist.
Yeah,
because it
that-
was
that-
him.
that
It
is
was
a good
him
point.
being. It was him being a twat and getting his dad to buy him a Habo that created Heroman in the first place. So.
And those Habos were freaking $299 a piece.
Hey man, they were reduced from $350.
But the thing I found so funny is that scene where you see them all on display. It's like, that's a freaking $350 piece of kit that you just got sitting out. People are going to nick that.
People are going to nick
That's
that
like
and then go out in
retail
lightning
mind,
storms.
that is.
People are going to nick them and then go out in fields and get them struck by lightning.
Yup.
And then we're just going to have Heroman everywhere.
can we just say, Habo, so adorable.
Yeah, man.
So adorable.
The bit where the Habo got hit by the car genuinely made me cry the first time I saw it.
Yeah, man.
That really upset me. I was like, apparently I care more about machines than humans. So I was just like,
but
no,
then-
Habo.
But then that's followed by the scene where Joey's putting it back together. It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got much money, so he's got to fix his toys, and he's got all these tools, and it's like,
I love
yeah.
how it obviously doesn't work to the point where he's got like a little control stick and he can control it, but he's like,
Yeah.
I love this thing so
He's
much.
there flying it around like an airplane, going like, yeah, Hero Man. Whoa.
That was what made me think Joey's the best.
He is,
I really
he's awesome.
love Joey. He's so good.
It's at that kind of like starting point of the whole story, kind of building on the main character likes this toy, is what kind of gives this entire series such a massive like nostalgic feeling for me. It's just kind of everything about the show encapsulates what I loved as a child and what I loved to see in fiction as a child, to
Yeah.
the point where if this thing was dubbed and on television 20 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, it would have been my favourite thing ever.
Mhm.
Hands down, because it's just
And you'd have all
so
the toys.
enjoyable.
Because
Yeah.
they'd have released all the toys.
Like, this thing is so marketable, like, for kids. Like, you could, if they literally took this show, took out a couple of the more kind of provocative things, gave Lena a less revealing swimsuit, and then put it on TV for a Western audience, it would be so popular. It really would.
Talking
I
about
think they would. I
popularity,
think
this
they.
thing is so unpopular.
Yeah, man. I can't think why either.
It's because Stan Lee wrote it.
Yeah, and
It's why Ultimo's not popular.
Yeah, part of
It's
me
why
is I am worried
Heroman-
about that. People are just like, a Westerner created this? Throw it out!
I think this is why it's a good thing that I watched it when I did, because at that point I was sort of like a noob when it came to new anime, so I didn't know that a Westerner being involved in the production was a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's... I didn't know either when I watched it, to be honest. But I think one of the other main reasons people probably have a problem with it is just because it is so rambling cliche. Like,
it's
there
very
is no
clear.
there is no plot point in this show that hasn't been done to death elsewhere. And as I said, I'm fine with that, but I can definitely see why other people wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so unpopular.
And,
It makes
and
me really
I-
sad because I love this show. I really
Yeah.
do.
I think it is
absolutely
underrated.
adore it. It's definitely underrated. It's got a freaking 6.9 rating on Mal.
It
Mal
doesn't deserve that at all.
standards- Mal standards, that is like a 1 by any of our rating systems.
Yeah, that's gobshite.
Like, under 7, Mal rating is just like, no, it's horrible. That's like a 0.2, that's 0.2 above Sekai Daiichiban or something.
Can
Damn.
I point out my favourite part in the first arc?
Go on then.
Just to get us back on track, is where they go after the Scrog have been like destroying the world. They go to see if Grandma's alright, and Grandma's just sat there with her headphones on, knitting, just like, yeah, what's going on? It's been a bit loud outside today.
I've heard some noises.
I think every scene involving Jerry's grandma is probably the best scene in the show. That woman is the freaking stuff at the.
The
know
fact
this
that
is
she's
jumping
about that
forward, but
big
it's-
as well.
Yeah,
She's like literally that big.
It's on theme of his grandmother. But jumping forward way to the bits at the end on TV, and she just thinks she's watching a movie, even though it's the news, and it's just like, oh, that's cute. He
That
looks
kid-
like Joey.
That kid looks like Joey. I should tell him.
She's
I should
adorable.
tape
She
it
is
and then
like-
show him later on.
Anime grandmas. she is the winner. She's the best one.
Another thing I found silly about the first arc is Scrug are ludicrously strong. So how does combining a Scrug with a human make something that is more powerful than a Scrug?
Because it's two things.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
I don't know why they were like, yeah, we've got these human people. We should turn them into Scrug. Like, why?
Like, obviously, the reason they did it is so we had the Will plot point for later. I get it. That's fine. I understand. But it just seems a bit strange for a human.
You could hackney so many different
I guess
potential reasons as to why it would work.
Kind of logic to that.
Yeah, you could just whenever you add human to anything, it becomes awesome. That it just seems to be the rule of the world, or at least the anime world. Like you get this thing, if you put a person in it, suddenly it's pro.
Like a robot, put a person in a robot. That's plot point right there.
Because you could like theorize that a lot of like shows kind of say that humans are like have super reactive DNA and are able to evolve really well, which would kind of explain why Will stops being a Scrug and starts being more whatever the hell he is at the end of the show. Because he's obviously surpassed the Scrug.
Like incredibly important character who's not even there half the time.
He barely does anything really.
Well, I
so important because he just comes in and he's like, Lena, don't talk to Joey anymore, and she's like,
oh, that's my brother. He's a bug now. He's Bug Batman.
Pretty much. Okay, are we ready to move into the second arc now?
Yeah, why not?
Any final thoughts on the first one, other than that it was amazing?
It was awesome.
And the bit where freaking Denton, the bit where Denton is hacking, is just hilarious. Because it's just like, how are you doing that?
I hacked into the US government satellite.
The triangular keyboard. Like, how do you know what you're doing?
Yeah.
I love how he stops the ball and he's just like,
Can I just say, the sounds that keyboard made, fucking amazing. If I could make my keyboard make that noise, boom, 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 pro. I'd do it all the time.
It will lit up.
One day,
anyway,
one day.
The second arc.
This was my least favourite arc in the show.
The second arc had issues.
Doing this in the entirety of it, leading up to the big showdown with Dr. Minami.
Yeah.
Just the actual runaway portion. Because my biggest problem with this arc is that I just didn't like Dr. Minami that much. Yeah. But I just didn't think he was as compelling villain as the Scrug were.
Yeah.
Main thing is just because his cronies were just like, why are you even following this guy?
They were sort of clever in what they did by ending the Scrug thing so early, because it got to the point where they weren't a threat anymore, so they were just like, oh, we'll just do a new. But the problem is with Minami, he wasn't a threat, it's just the way that he was manipulating people that was a bit shit. It wasn't even a threat, really. It was just like, oh, Joey might get arrested.
One thing that I did, because when I first started watching that arc, the initial fight between Heroman and the MR1, that kind of really annoyed me, because I was like, well, this is kind of, because I kind of guessed that Minami and the MR1 was going to be kind of an important point for the second arc, and it annoyed me that Heroman beat it so easily, because I was just like, well, it's kind of a non-villain, really. It's just going to show up and be a minor nuisance half the time. So I was really glad when it got around to the final fight that MR1 was actually kind of able to hold its own and they had a proper fight. Because talking about how I didn't really like the second arc that much, that fight at the end was really good, but it was stretched out a bit too much.
Yeah, definitely the fight at the end was the highlight of that arc. But I just kind of like the whole like needing to escape thing. So like how them bonding and everything on the journey or whatever. It was just kind of, it was nice. It was completely silly, and I am honestly quite annoyed by the whole always like the general plot point in fiction of the good guy does something really like praiseworthy, and then suddenly everyone misconstrues it and he's a villain to the public, and it's just like, it just kind of makes you feel bad inside a little bit.
The solution, I felt, was a little bit hackneyed as well, considering it just so happens that before all this kicked off, Joey became friends with the guy who's second only to the president. Agent Q.
No, man, it wasn't hackneyed because he came into the freaking cafe.
I like how he was like,
yeah, I know, but it was like, it was just like they had this.
Don't you recognise me, Joey? And then just ruffled his hair up.
It's me, it's Mr. Hughes.
And then I wondered, are there people who didn't realise that was the guy from the cafe who were watching the show until
even though they made like such a big deal of his crazy red watch that I want.
One thing actually I want to bring up about this arc is what I want to know is if, like, a extraterrestrial or not known to the government power actually did do something like that, is that what would happen? Like, would the government then be trying to get this thing to do experiments on it? Because in every piece of fiction, that's what happens. And fiction has taught us
I don't think that was
that's what happened.
Because like Hugh said that as a joke, so it's unsure whether that's actually what they.
That's what
I think you're led to assume it, but I think part of it is just like because they're afraid of Hero Man and they're not sure what he's capable of. It almost seems like their idea is just, well, let's just destroy it because then we don't have to worry about it. Even though it could be like the greatest boon to our country ever.
I do love that Hughes
But he
ended
was
up
like-
being a good guy.
Yeah, I like
Just
Hughes.
say
Hughes was
that
lovely.
Hero Man is the most patriotic thing ever, so they shouldn't have been threatened by it. It had a fucking American flag.
Yeah, it's like,
design
how could you
going on.
destroy this? He's got the stars and stripes on him, and he makes an O when he flexes.
Yeah, I guess it is just because they're like, yeah, it's a remnant of the Scrug, which is a logical conclusion that this superpowered thing came when this other superpowered thing came. Because that
But
whole
he did
actual...
It came from the lightning.
I
was
love
gonna
that
say,
reasoning as well. It's so
Like,
funny.
if we're going to question like the logic of Hero Man, one thing I would say is, considering they like convicted Minami of treason and he was hanging from a helicopter, why didn't someone just shoot him?
I know.
I'm pretty sure
like a force field or something.
Yeah, probably made of shit, made of science.
Jelly. He was glowing green.
He was glowing green.
Green force field.
Can I just say, like, one thing that I do really like about Minami was his theme song. Minami's
Yeah,
theme
his
song
theme
was
song was
awesome,
amazing.
funky, crazy. And then when his glasses did the whole MR1 online thing, and he was all like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's a lot to talk about in the second arc, 'cause it's just like, oh, Minami was being a bit of a dick, and then he was...
the best part
In
of season
prison.
2. The best part of season 2 was that Holly got introduced. Season 2, arc 2, was that Holly got introduced.
It's
'Cause
Was
Holly's
that when
awesome.
Holly got introduced?
Yeah,
Because Holly's amazing. She's
She's
like the
pro.
Nana character.
because she gets introduced, and then Joey leaves.
Yep. One of my favourite things
Yeah.
about the second arc, though, was the kind of really, really heavy, obnoxious way that they solved the whole Hero Man's a bad guy thing. 'Cause it's literally just that woman with the camera just hamming it on, laying it heavy, and going, he's a hero, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
You don't want
Look
to
at
think
this
guy's a bad
dude.
guy. Look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. He's amazing. It's just
He's
like,
standing
okay.
in front of a dam that he helped mess up,
Yeah.
stopping
And
it
the
from
bit Where
breaking.
Hero Man's like stopping the things and he's like that. It's like, oh my god, Hero Man, I love you. He's amazing. It's like, oh, that moment was so satisfying. That was the best thing about the second arc.
Kinross just asked if the lightning came from the Scrug.
I think it did, yeah.
Well, no,
But
it came from.
it was a storm kind
Yeah,
of like.
it came from a storm that
because
happened.
of
Yeah.
them.
So indirectly, yes, but himself has nothing to do with the Scrug. He was just
Yeah.
created because as a response to the Scrug
It
entering.
wasn't like Scrug lightning. It didn't have like Thor attached to the bottom of it.
Just Mjolnir,
Well, they should-
Mjolnir
imagine-
dangling from the UFO.
Imagine if they gave Hero Man a hammer.
Hammer man, Hero
Hero Man doesn't
man,
need a hammer.
hammer.
I don't think you need to make sense of where exactly Hero Man came from.
They made that really like Denton makes that really like just the really obscure thing where he says at the end, "Oh, it was probably just like the will of the universe chose him to be a hero."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best. That is obviously the best description, because otherwise you just be like, well, why didn't the lightning melt the plastic toy?
That's like saying, I mean, this is going into complete. We're talking comic logic here. You know, Barry Allen got struck by lightning and that turned him into the Flash. Peter Parker got bit by a spider and he became Spider-Man. And Batman's parents got murdered. You know, there's all these weird explanations as to why people become superheroes. It's never really that detailed.
And it is. That's another thing that kind of makes it such kind of a classic reasoning as to how he became that way. It's just like, yeah, struck by lightning.
Speaking
Bro.
of the Flash, do we know
Yeah.
why Joey has like super speed?
It was a thing for.
It's just a thing he's got.
Now that leads into my theory that I'm going to talk about at the end. Right,
It's
just
the
you
same
wait.
reason why he can make bubbles. It's just an ability
Well,
that he got
no,
from
he,
his little
he makes bubbles with the little machine thing, but
Yeah,
that
and when
doesn't
he's-
give him like roller skates.
No, man. 'Cause, no, his body's like covered in a bit of a.
It's
when
not.
he's going quick.
Hero Man isn't. I'm going to kind of. I'll go into more detail of this later on, but Hero Man isn't Hero Man because of Hero Man. Hero Man is Hero Man because of Joey. It's all
yeah.
It's all Joey. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna go into more detail later on. But yeah,
Well, Hero Man's kind of like a physical embodiment of Joey's heroism.
yeah,
I thought he was just going to spoil your theory then. For
a little
second, but
bit.
it's like,
I might as well just say it now. Did you ever notice that Hero Man looks like Joey's dad? He's got the
I
same
did.
sort. He's got the same sort of stature. He's got a similar facial structure. And I'm not saying that Hero Man is like Joey's dad reincarnated, but Joey's like vision.
Well, it's just kind of his mental picture of
Yeah,
what a hero
exactly.
is.
His idea of what a hero is was his father, and then, but so when the lightning comes down, like Denton says that weird thing about, oh, the Earth chose you to be a hero, Joey. But at the time, Joey wanted to be a hero, but he didn't have the confidence and he didn't feel like it was possible for him to be a hero. So a proxy was created, and that was Hero Man. And then through Hero Man, Joey realised that he did have the potential to be a hero, and that's how he got super speed, crazy hand powers, and all the awesome stuff that
God,
came with
I'm
it. So
just remembering, like,
it's
the
like a
last
resonant it's like a
episode.
resonant thing. As Hero Man grows, Joey grows, and it's all because it's from Joey being a hero.
Okay. And that,
Like,
that
they're not really-
I just remembered the
The
last
second half.
episode where Glowy's like, Glowy?
Glowy.
that is what we call that iteration of Joey.
Glowy Joey.
Yeah, Joey is glowing red and like, yeah, I'm gonna kill myself now.
And
For
it,
the
and
good
it
of
was
the
fucking
for the good
awesome.
of the race. And I was like, no, this isn't how this. No.
So we'll get more of that later then.
Is there anything else to say about the second arc apart from
No.
oh, everything turned out all right and
Yeah, it was all
I
fine in the end.
I still really enjoyed it thoroughly.
It was fantastic. I just felt it wasn't as strong as the other two, and because it kind of the build up I think took a little bit too long, and then the climactic fight happened, and then that kind of was really good, and then started dragging on a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that like the climactic moment in the second arc was more satisfying than in the first arc.
Yeah.
can we talk about the third arc yet? Because it's my favourite.
No.
Yeah, we can talk about the third arc.
Let's talk about the third arc. Let's go.
Okay, third arc.
Episode
Go.
22. There you go. That is my feelings. Which was the episode where we learned about why Holly doesn't see Brian as a hero.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is one of my favourite anime episodes ever. I think it's amazing.
It almost made me cry on my second watch because I'd forgotten about it. When he just
You know,
he gets the hat and he pulls
I
it
had-
out. It's like
I had honestly forgotten about it until you saw Brian do that, and I was
Yeah.
like, he's got the picture
Yeah,
in his
yeah, yeah.
helmet.
So I'd completely forgotten about that, and then he's got the picture in his head.
it's like oh
Oh.
my god, Joey's
Oh.
dad.
the
what a guy.
feels.
What
It
an
was a
awesome
field
guy.
explosion. It wasn't fair.
I think that
It
episode
wasn't
was
fair.
the best episode in the series for me personally.
And then Holly realizes that it's that episode that makes her realize that he didn't die for the sake of being a hero. He was trying
Yeah.
to stay alive, and
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate that you never go back to fireworks after you light them. I'm sorry, but Brian was a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, he did. It was a bit silly, but he needed
was
to
doing
check.
it for the good of everyone.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
he
got
was.
blowed up.
No, the thing is, he needed to
But-
make sure that it was all working, man.
Yeah, but then he got blowed
Yeah.
up.
The thing is, right? Yeah, he blew it.
That joke was dynamite.
Oh my god. But that was my favourite episode of the series because it definitely shone a little bit more light on Holly's character.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like, we got the story of Brian, we got to know a bit more about Holly, and she was still devastated about the fact that he died.
Yeah, she's just much better at hiding it, apparently.
You kind of knew that episode had to come though, because Holly acting like that needed justification at some stage.
I really
Otherwise,
like.
she wouldn't
I
have acted
was-
like that at all.
I was totally just like, oh, it's anime. They're just not going to explain that, man.
I really liked Holly's character, but
She was
yeah,
amazing.
she was awesome. I really liked the fact that
She made Joey dress up as a girl, so of course she liked it.
she knows, man. She knows what I needed. No, I just really liked the whole, like, she was the older sibling, and she basically existed to make Joey's life a living hell. Like, he gets his first
Yeah.
date ever with Lena, and then Sai finds her, and Sai's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's literally going, "Oh, I worked out that Joey's on a date, so I've come here to fuck it up."
Can
But
I just say,
in the
that
same-
relationship so realistic between,
Yeah,
like,
because in the same breath, like, Joey goes into his/her room, and then basically, like, she's asleep, and Joey says, "Holly, I need to talk to you about something important," and she's immediately awake and does everything that she can to help him. It's like, I really like the idea of, I'm really horrible to you, but I am the only person that's allowed to be horrible to you.
She definitely cares about him,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the only reason she acts that way, regardless.
Yeah.
It's a very realistic sibling situation.
Yeah, it is.
It's adorable.
Just
And I
like
really
how
like the
my,
relationship between those two. So.
Yeah.
my brother used to cut off my sister's eyebrows and stuff like that because he loved her so much.
Aww.
My sister put glass in my bed, so.
You cut your foot twice.
I think my favourite bit, like, kind of talking about Holly a bit more as well, is when she finds out that Joey's like off fighting and stuff, and just her reaction. She turns around to Cy and Denton and is just like, "What the fuck? You let him do this? You're twats."
I just find it odd she hadn't cottoned on already. Because
Yeah,
they were obviously all involved.
And then there was like, why is Heroman with you?
Joey, what's that thing on your arm? She was there when he had it. So.
She was kind
think-
of dense, but she was awesome.
Yeah.
She was one of my favourite
awesome
characters in
because
the series.
she looked like Nana.
Yep.
I'm
That's
going to
all
say
she
this a
needs
lot.
to be awesome.
I'm going to say the words. She was one of my favourite, or they were one of my favourite characters in this series because I just liked a lot of the characters.
It's really, I think it's really hard to dislike a character in this series, unless it's
There are-
Dr. Minami.
Yeah. Even him,
Or
I
the
didn't
Scrug.
hate. Nah, the Scrug were brilliant. I love it.
Kogor was pro.
Kogor was amazing.
Pro
Yeah, but you're
Gore.
not
Progor.
supposed to be like, yes, favourite character.
Yeah, man. Kogor, I wish he'd won.
Oh, she
I want to see an anime series about Kogor eating
Joey,
planets.
with his big arm, had gone and punched Kogor. Joey would have died, and Kogor would have been like, "Oi, mate, I didn't even feel it, yeah."
That wasn't even my real weak spot, yeah?
There was other things as well that happened in this. Like, we got a bit of insight on who Will was. We got insight of his relationship with Cy. Got insight on why Cy was so crippled the entire time.
I have a criticism about Cy. You know, he wears those big baggy trousers.
Yeah.
That knee support wouldn't do anything for him.
I have loads of criticisms about Sai in that he is the worst designed anime character I have ever seen in my life.
What?
I'm just throwing
He's
that out
got
there.
the hair.
Have you seen his hair? His hair's fabulous.
His hair, he plays when he's got his American football helmet on, and his hair is still covering half his face.
Yeah.
You cannot be a freaking running back if you've only got one eye. You wouldn't even be allowed
Sai
to
can.
play.
Sai can, because he's good.
Excuse me,
He's
I
that
watched
good.
100 and something episodes of Eye Shield. I know he would not have survived a
Right.
minute.
Let's
Nah, man,
just say
it's Sai.
he didn't because he got his leg shattered.
Exactly, and he would have been fine if he didn't have his eye covered up.
Well, that's
Wears
the...
an orange body warmer, the I am a dad in a midlife crisis outfit,
Whoa,
and these
orange
freaking
is cool.
MC hammers that are just far too big for him. It's like, what are you playing at? How are you cool?
got a
Why
guitar
do people
that,
think
like-
you're cool?
No, he's got a guitar that makes things go. He makes it screech, and he's got a hoverboard.
And then
Hoverboard.
there's the whole fact that like he can't use his leg or anything, but somehow he's able to use this big skateboard
Yeah,
thing.
that was a bit like
Just
the motor skateboard.
How are you able to control this rolly board and have your crutches just tucked into your belt?
I honestly
is that
really
good?
liked Sai's design, and I don't know why, because usually I'd be like, what the fuck is this? This is
It's because his hair is bigger than him.
I think the
For
best
some
thing
reason,
about
he reminds me of a friend, and I can't work out why, but he really reminds me of Warren. And I'm like,
what?
why? Exactly.
If there is one person in anime who is the least like Warren, it is Sai.
Well, to be fair, I did watch this when Warren was adorable and had glasses, and now he's all like sexy and beefy. But I'm not. No, not going there.
What were we even talking about that led us on to Sai?
I don't know.
Oh, we got more background
the
into
Will
Sai
thing.
and and Will.
Well,
yeah.
one other thing about Sai though, the best thing about him is he had the same voice actor as Hachiken.
Yeah,
Serious
yeah.
Bill.
The one thing that I really liked about the third arc was, you know the episode where Will came back, and the intro scenes where Will was in the city messing people up. How beautifully were those scenes? Like, did they look with like the film noir kind of style,
Oh, yeah,
super
they were
dark
awesome.
shadows? And, like, if the whole show had been animated like that, I would have been in Happy Land.
Can I just say, I loved the way that the show was animated. I thought it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Just those
The
bits.
lighting and the scenes were brilliant.
Mm.
That's
I
what
love
it was.
Bones with their reused animation because it's like the Ginga Bishonen thing in
Yeah,
Star Dragon
yeah.
with the Heroman
Yeah.
engaged thing.
And
Yeah,
how
it's
like
good.
did anyone else play the guessing game of what word he was going to say? Heroman, and is he going to do finish?
Is it going to be finish?
Finish,
Blast, go, augment.
Augment.
I don't remember what the O move was called.
Spark.
O Spark.
Flex beam.
Spark.
Epic flex beam.
I'm so sad that only got used once.
Yeah, but it had to be.
It's
Like
too
as soon as it turned up, like on the dial, I was like, that's going to be the whatever ends the series.
Yeah. It created a big Heroman logo in the sky. So it was brilliant.
For the longest time though, I was kind of hoping that because it was like the Hero Man stance stuff. I thought it was going to be like some sort of like, I don't know, unite or something, and Joey and Hero Man were going to fuse and become like crazy Joey Hero Man.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to happen. But everyone wants fusion and anything.
Yeah, man, because fusion's amazing, especially considering that Joey's arm kind of became a Hero Man arm for a bit.
I think one thing I will say about the third arc though is that it feels very kind of disjointed, and like it's got like these little 2-episode segments, like they're on the island for a bit, and there's the bit with Will. But then I'm just like, okay, this isn't really good. But then they're like, it all ties together.
Yeah,
it's all relevant to itself. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That island thing honestly felt like weird fan service, and I was so confused about what was happening. Could not work it out.
Let's put Mrs. Collins in a bikini. Yeah.
I thought it was because they just wanted.
Yeah.
I just thought they wanted to expand the relationship between Joey and Lena a little bit more, and I was like, why are they doing this?
So, but they did though, because they held hands underwater and it was adorable. And then Hero Man gets up under him, he's like, yeah, and then they're still holding hands over.
This is another reason why I like Hero Man. It's because that relationship actually felt like it was growing.
The bit where Hero Man's looking at the barbecue and the barbecue sparks, he's like,
that was adorable.
Oh god. Oh, I love Hero Man. Oh, he's so cute. I just want to give him
island again. Like, was it literally just a vacation, or did the
basically
put them there to sort that out?
No,
without telling them?
It was because Agent Hughes basically went, you guys deserve a break. We have this island resort that no one knows about that's got like an NIA like thing in it. You can go and stay there for a bit, and then when what's his name, the scientist, turns up, he basically says, not even the NIA know about this. But we've kind of put it under there because
that works.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh.
What's that noise?
Oh god, that bit, the fight at the end of that arc, where he's like, disengage, and he picks it up and he throws him, and then he engages him, so he transforms it in the air. That was amazing.
It was awesome.
It was like, oh, that's pro. Joey just threw Hero Man.
Cameron would never throw Hero Man, but like, hey,
No.
Like, it's my Habo, yeah.
And I just love how long it took him to figure out how to get him out of the vines.
What could I do? Is there
He
any
was
way
just stuck there, and it's like, how do I get him out? They're absorbing electricity. Oh yeah, I can make him little. Even though I will put my hand up and admit that I didn't think of that until he did it.
Yeah.
I was thinking he should do the augment.
Yeah, I was like, why doesn't he just do augment? Oh wait, he trashed the place. So then again, the place is already pretty messed up anyway. So what did you guys think that Kogor's eye jewel thing? What did you think that was before they said they're gonna revive Kogor?
I honestly thought it was some sort of, this is a magical item to transform the world into Scrug.
Scrug world.
I didn't really think about what it was, but it was just something that I knew it was like a Scrug thing that would end up bringing the Scrug back.
Yeah.
It was really.
I didn't assume it was part of Kogor.
It was really heavily hinted at in the last. It was like the last few seconds of the episode of the first arc.
Because someone picks it up.
Yep.
Just a hand appears and goes, "Oh, that's mine."
Some random researcher
who managed to get all the way to the bottom of that hole without being noticed. Just go, yep, that's mine. I'm going to hide this under the White House because that's obviously the safest place for it. Underneath the president, of course. Yeah, I had no idea what it was really. I just evil Scrug thing. And then Will just turns around and goes, I knew it. They plan to revive Kogor. I was like,
where did the other Scrug come from?
Yeah, that was a bit.
Back at the end.
They must have just like run away or something.
They all looked different as well. They were all orange ones.
The orange ones.
I thought it was because they kidnapped people and put them in the bubble.
The orange like Robo Scrugs and the Scrug dogs were like people that had been made into those for some reason.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they weren't the same as Will and Nick.
No. Oh, their technology was different?
Not because it was all underground and
Yeah, man.
secret.
An underground scrug
No, it's
movement.
because they didn't have their base, so they had to
Yeah.
make these other ones, and they weren't quite as good.
They
But
had to make
still,
do. They made a gorilla one. That was funny.
that one was great, and Hero Man's just like, yeah, fuck you up,
Yeah, man.
off we go.
Can I just say the one thing that I liked the most, I have like Sagan Duck kind of thing, was when the plant went, "I make a plant hero man."
Yeah.
Yeah. and then Kogo later on just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna make loads of plant hero men."
And then they just fucking pop.
Yeah, man. Poor plant hero man.
Is it time to talk about the climactic finale yet?
Can I
Those-
say,
Oh, go on.
I really loved the last episode until they did that fucking post-credit thing where they were like, Dr. Minami's escaped, to be continued? It's like,
what-
you knew you were never going to get a second season, you
No.
It was
Now,
just it was panty and stocking all over again. It was just
my
it was
God.
that it was just they did the same thing there. It was
That
just
made me so angry. Because
Oh.
I
What did-
knew, as soon as I finished it, this thing ain't getting a second season. You know?
What did you think he was working on in the cell with his crazy
don't know.
pencil?
No,
I think-
I want to know.
No, I think I don't know, but I want more details than that. I think it's like he was trying to make his own hero man, but it was shaped like Dr. Minami, so it had like his hair. Nah, man, you
They
can't
have
you
the
can't be.
glasses as well.
Yeah, and it was just gonna be
Well,
Minami's
I'm
hero
assuming
man.
I'm assuming it'll be MR6 because I'm assuming MR stands for Minami Robo, and that was the 5th Minami Robo, and that'd be the 6th Minami Robo.
But MR1 was always MR1. It never changed its name.
Oh, I somehow thought it was MR5.
It's MR1.
Well, this one will be MR2 then. There you go.
Maybe. But it's going to be a hero man, and then you'll have Dr. Minami doing all the sequences.
Oh my god.
Minami man, engage!
But then like they just leave and it's like, don't want your notes? Can I just bring this
alright, I
slab
got-
of wall with me?
Take a photograph of it, it's fine.
Take a selfie with it
It
behind.
just made me so angry that I thought, if I wrote the ending, it would have been so different. Like, I would have killed off Joey, I would have had a time skip where Lena's like old and still thinks about him, but the world's nice, and it would have been great.
Oh, man.
Wait, isn't
So
that
much better than-
isn't that just the ending of Gurren Lagann?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just the other way around. I don't know, because I wonder if they did a second season and they had Dr. Minami be the bad guy at the start of the second season, do you think they'd bring the Scrug back again afterwards? And it would just
have
be a
to.
constant loop of the Scrug
Yeah.
and Dr. Minami just leapfrogging over each other.
Yeah, the thing is though, about the thing I hate about that cliffhanger is it didn't need to be there simply because everything else had been resolved. But I hated it just because it was like, yeah, season 2, if it happens, will be another Dr. Minami arc. And it's like, I don't like him. I want more Scruggies. But on the other hand, I loved it and was like, does this mean we might have See Hero Man season 2, maybe, please? Because like there was that, it gives you the hope.
It does give you the hope, but Bones almost never do sequels, and this was so unpopular.
I just-
They
Well, the thing is,
there was,
they-
there's
I think
no
with me,
justification
with,
for
with
it
me,
getting
without
sequels.
having like the knowledge of this being 4 years since it came out, when it did the to be continued, and then just like really silly question mark appeared, I was like, nah, that's just a troll. They may as well have just put the friggin' troll
Well,
face there.
4 years isn't that ridiculous.
No, I know, but-
we've seen sequels come out in longer times than that. But the thing is, like, it'll either never come out or it'll be a bone sequel, which it will be, which means it'll be bad anyway.
Hey,
'Cause there's
Sully
one
and
thing-
Knots, fine.
No, man,
It's not a sequel,
Stanley
it's a
wouldn't.
spin-off.
Stanley wouldn't make it bad. Stanley would be like,
I honestly think that they couldn't ruin Hero Man because it's just got such a formula that
Yeah.
the only thing that I kind of feel like a sequel wouldn't sort of work or wouldn't be as good is because Joey's character arc has kind of been completed already. His
Yeah.
character doesn't really have anywhere to go. He's got with Lena pretty much. They want to be together forever, that's fine. He's realised that he's a hero, he doesn't have to kill himself, yay. So he's kind of complete as a character. He can't go anywhere. I suppose he could, but any directions that they tried to take Joey's character or any of his relationships wouldn't make it Hero Man anymore. They'd have to do the
Yeah.
whole like Peter Parker thing of him and Lena breaking up, but that's
Or
far
they'd
too
or they'd
mature
have
for
to, like,
quick
As a
question,
new
am I
hero.
here?
your video's frozen.
you are here though.
Quick, turn into a panda.
Real quick. Right.
Oh, is she gone? Oh no,
We're back.
Abby.
I'm trying my hardest.
Hello.
Hello.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
You've returned to us.
Let's backtrack ever so slightly because we jumped straight to the cliffhanger and didn't talk about the ending properly. And I thought the whole lead up, everything to like the final clash was just brilliant. Like the whole Hero Man's got this new armor now. He's got wings. Let's go fuck everything up.
Friggin' Hero Man's power armor. That was awesome.
And then it's just like, yeah, I can make all these
To
kind
everything
of.
now. That's Bones' answer to everything in a finale. They just put wings on it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, I've got these kind of sound missiles attached to me now.
That just
I'm
make
glad-
all the
I'm
scrog
glad he didn't-
explode.
Yep, I'm glad he didn't use them when Will was around. That's all I can say.
That would have been pretty bad.
And there's the bit where it's like, oh my god, there's a boy running by Hero Man. He's helping Hero Man. Hero Man and the boy are working together. Please bugger off, woman. You're stopping him from doing things. No, I don't want to.
And then Agent Hughes is like, Joey, just ignore the woman. If she dies, it's her own fault. Deal with it. And Joey's like, okay.
No, I can't do that.
Okay. Eventually.
And then it's
The
just
one
like,
thing-
Joey, you need to act more like Kiritsugu Emiya.
the one thing that I didn't like is how little Will added to the whole equation. He was just sort of there. It was cool that he was there.
He was important at some. What
Abby,
the hell was going on? Am I gone?
your sound went, but you're back now.
You're back now. You just kind of
You know
clicked
what?
out.
My internet's
Oh,
Oh,
dear,
God.
it's going
Oh,
again.
Maybe.
It's all going wrong. It's Dr. Minami. He's hacking into
Yeah.
the stream.
I think what she may have been talking about was that Will, whilst he wasn't like directly the thing that solved the equation in the end, he was still completely necessary for him to be there in terms of actually like kind of reaching the conclusion, seeing his arc to a finish.
Yeah, I just feel like they could have done more with him, kind of made him more prevalent.
powerful.
Because he appears, him and Hero Man have that little scuffle. That was awesome. When he first appeared, that was pro. And then he just sort of disappears.
It
And
definitely the kind of end of his arc definitely did not match where it could have gone after the whole he's come back, he's wearing a freaking cool jacket.
He's got a fedora on. It's all good. Yeah, it almost felt like the whole, like, the pinnacle of his character, or the reason why his character was around, just was to simply go, oh, they're trying to revive Kogor, and then get knocked out.
and fuck up the relationship between Joey and Lena a little
Even
bit.
though that didn't
Yeah, it's
work
true.
at all. It was just, oh, you saw
Oh.
Will. Oh no.
I love how that went down because she was just like, I don't want to see you right now, and he's just like, okay then, and just gets on a helicopter and fucks off.
What did he
Bye.
say as well? What did he say?
I don't know.
I think he
he's-
said, I love you.
Yeah,
Love you,
that's what we want. That's what we want to assume
I
because
love you.
their relationship had everything. Except
Nah,
a kiss.
man. He said, I'll tell you exactly what he said. He said, you're the reason I get up every day.
Oh god.
Only in Japanese.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's so relevant. Like,
yeah,
that's totally
exactly. So it would have worked.
But get up in a completely different kind of get up.
Yeah. Do that?
Aw.
Look, I did that. Well, Joey did that, but
Yeah, you did.
Way more than I like my idea.
yeah. Yeah. I just because like Will was just so cool, and the reason why I really like Will as well as a character is he was the anti-hero sort of character, and he was like
Yeah.
he was like he said, Hero Man, or Joey and Hero Man are the light, and Will is the darkness. But what I really liked about it was the fact that Will, like his character, his powers, like everything that came from Will, was created as a direct result of something that happened in the show, which very rarely happens with this sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't usually get a character that becomes what they are due to, at least in the superhero genre. I can't really think of anything apart from, I don't know, Superboy exists because Superman exists. That
Yeah.
sort of thing. It wasn't, someone's actions don't generally create a hero.
I just like how he did end up becoming something important because honestly, how many times have you seen a kind of like sign off and then he went wandering off in the distance and you never see them again? But then he comes back and he's like, yeah, it's Will, and he's doing something with a purpose. He's actually and his motivation is completely justified.
Yeah.
Like everything he does and how Will acts even though I kind of like how big of a dick he is at the start, doesn't reflect how much of a hero he is at the end. Because obviously he's just very protective of Lena.
Yeah. I mean, that's all it can really be coined down to as well. He's a teenage lad who is protective of his sister, and yeah,
Joey's pretty much a girl anyway. So
exactly. So you know,
but he's got scruffy jeans,
scruffy jeans, and a leather jacket. It was the leather jacket. That was why Will didn't trust him, because he's wearing a leather jacket. That kid's obviously in with bikers. It's not safe.
We need to move on from the story though, because we haven't talked about anything else, and it's been an hour.
It's because we don't need. We've talked about most of the characters through talking about the story.
Yeah, but we haven't talked about Sand.
Okay, one last thing. The going back to the Joey's form where he's got a big arm.
Oh,
it was beyond amazing. You see him, it's like, oh, he's being orange like Heroman was being orange, and then he does the animation thing, and he's going in, he's ruining everything, and then Heroman shows up, and it's like, no, I'll give you a hug. And just
give you a hug.
Everything about that sequence, just yes. He had a big hand. I'm not sure what it reminded me of, but it reminded me of something.
Something with a big hand.
Yeah.
Zammed.
Yes.
Big hand zammed.
Zammed is what it reminds me of.
I wonder if eventually Big Hand will cover his entire body, and he'll just be like.
Okay, so onto characters. Starting with Joey.
Right.
I love Joey.
I really like Joey as well.
Joey
I wish I looked a bit like Joey. He's so pretty.
He's such like a stylish, wonderful little dude. He's like, he looks sort of human because his hair is normal, and he's so lovable. His heart is just perfectly in the right place. He is just kind of
a heart of gold.
An image of perfection and innocence, and kind of what a protagonist needs to be in this, like in such a cliched hero story like this. He filled the role in a way that no other character could.
His biggest flaw was that he was naive, and that was perfect.
Yeah,
because that naivety showed through in like everything that he did. Well, why would the government do this? Why would they vilify us like this? Oh, but why would Dr. Minami do this? Why is he being a knob? I don't understand. People are nice. Why aren't they nice? And then Denton's just like, sometimes, Joey, people are assholes.
Yep. Okay, Cameron, now what would you do if you were alone in a room with Joey?
You don't want to know.
Would you make him dress up as a...
I don't need to, he already looks like one.
Yeah, totally. But remember when he put the dress on and he had the little...
No, I couldn't do bad things to Joey.
he's too lovely.
Look at him, I'd just give him a big hug and go, it's okay.
If they made Joey Dakimakura's...
Yeah, man, I'd have one. I'd cosplay as Heroman.
We need to have a Kickstarter to make Joey Dakis, just so that...
I'd have all of them.
They'd have Joey on one side and Cameron on.
I'd cosplay as Heroman, and it'd be like...
So many Joey Dakis everywhere.
It'd be amazing. Oh. Okay. As much as we would like to carry on talking about Joey,
there are other characters.
Lena, oh my god, I love her. Like, Jesus Christ, she's amazing.
She is such a good heroine. She's
is.
A really, really good heroine.
I was besotted with that girl when I first watched this series. I was like, wow, you are like so amazingly lovely in every way, shape, and form.
About her was her shoes, so her socks and shoes sort of like fused into one. Am I going again?
No, you went, but now come back and I've gotten what you said. What, the socks and shoes of her cheerleader outfit? Are they just kind of big boots?
Her cheerleader outfit that she never took off, even when she was going to bed.
Well, it's because like their school didn't have a uniform, but she's a cheerleader. She was a cheerleader to school.
Yeah, man.
The only thing I didn't like is that horrible parka she wore. That jumper.
Yeah. I think. Oh, go on.
No, that happens in every like American fiction thing ever. If there's a cheerleader, they all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that I feel Lena suffered from a little bit was she was kind of like generic. She's the love interest that can't really do much, so we're just gonna try and tiptoe around her a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Just we just gotta keep Lena out of trouble. Make sure she doesn't know what's going on.
In the first arc, she did do stuff because they were like, "No, Lena, wait here," and she's like, "Fuck that, I'm coming with you."
I'm gonna find Will. What are you on about?
The thing I loved about Lena in that regard is that she did want to kind of be a part of it, but she didn't do the helpless heroine thing in that she didn't cause them trouble.
Yeah.
She didn't go off and be like, yeah, I want to do this. She didn't need to be rescued other than when she was kidnapped. And that was kind of a real-life little random showing of Heroman being a hero. and like just obviously bringing Joey and Lena together again.
Yeah, like I said, it was just one aspect that I thought was a bit like, you know.
And her design was just gorgeous. She was
Apart from the
absolutely lovely.
shoes.
But
She was
and
cute.
then she put on a bikini. It's like, wow. And it's just like, okay, is it really that fun to be splashing water at each other for like that for like 4 minutes? It's like that probably isn't even that enjoyable.
Professor Denton was hilarious.
Professor Denton was Haureen Kilmer II.
Exactory!
He was amazing.
Can I just say though that Denton and Agent Hughes look exactly the bloody same. Like Agent Hughes looks like Professor Denton from like 10 years in the past. He really like because their hairstyles are exactly the same.
He is definitely like a crazy, ridiculous version. Maybe that is kind of a weird spist.
Spist.
I was going for spin and twist there, and in that they are actually the same person, and it's kind of Marvel logic, and they're kind of parallel universes and time travel.
Well, you know,
Can I just say my favourite moment with Denton was when he made the guitar and Sai went, "What, are you going to kill them with the power of rock and roll?"
Yeah.
Denton was like,
Oh god.
yeah, I am actually. Well, I'm not. You are. Now get this.
Down speaker.
Get this
And
guitar.
I love how
So good.
absolutely silly he looked when he put on the moustache. It's like, that's not the
Hey!
And that freaking like cowboy shirt with the strings.
How unsubtle could you be as well? It's like, yeah, I've
His
got a
disguise
camper
was way
van.
better than Joey's though, because
Joey just put his hood on.
it was just a hood up, and I love how they weren't after Sai, but when
Oh,
oh no,
say that again.
So after they weren't, when they weren't after Sai, you need to say.
right, the government weren't after.
It's done it again.
Fuck, I'm out. I'm done.
No,
What's causing
go.
it?
One more go. I don't know, just random internet cut out, I think.
Shopping. Oh, fuck it.
Ebby, come out of the call and come back in again. They get to see Panda Face for a second.
Yeah, they do. And we can
Look at
talk
that,
about
look at
why
that.
Denton is the most amazing thing. Because he wears glasses.
Yeah, man.
And he's the only
Okay.
main character to wear glasses. Okay. Give it a go, Evan. Give it
Talk for a
spin.
minute.
I don't know if this is gonna work.
Why? Oh, for
Or
fuck's-
quality. Go on without me. I'll just be here.
As a panda. Or as a human.
It's human. Well, the video seems to work fine.
Yeah, that's weird. If you want, Evie, if you have specific things you want to put in, type it in our chat and we'll read it out. I think that'll work.
This sucks. We're really sorry, guys. No
Yeah.
idea what's going on.
That's annoying. Yeah, Abby, if you want to say anything specifically, just write it down and we'll read it out.
Yeah, Denton was awesome. I just like the fact that I lost my chain of thought now because that's really pissed me off. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was it. How inconspicuous do you want to be with a camper van that just has a friggin' alien head painted on it?
One thing I did love about him is that he is just one of your mad scientist characters, and those are always fun. But sometimes they're a bit generic or iffy or just not that good. And he's amazing.
One of the things that I really liked about Denton was the fact that they could have just made like a generic government scientist put out that call to summon the Scrug. But no, it was Denton. It was this one guy who was just a science teacher in a school, sitting in a pokey shed, just, you know, mucking about. And that was what he did. He just mucked about. He didn't really do anything crazy. He just liked to muck about with stuff.
Okay, we've got Abby's comment through. It's like when they went shopping and the government weren't after Sai, they made him wait in the car whilst the other two went out shopping. Because
Yeah.
Denton is just like, I've got all the logic.
Oh.
Which is just ridiculous. Because like nobody cared about Sai. He was just there.
Well, I suppose that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because they didn't care about Sai. They wanted Denton because like they knew that Denton was the reason they were getting away, and it was Denton's camper van that they were in, and then Joey was their actual target. Because Emily said the same thing as well. It's like, why isn't Sai in the news report? I was like, because Sai's just baggage.
He's just there. He doesn't really matter.
Oh,
It's
we're
because
we're after this middle-aged man, this young teenage boy, and one cripple.
and his hair just wouldn't fit on the broadcast anyway.
Take up the entire screen. That would be it. The picture would just be like his hair, just like.
Okay, shall we move on to Sai?
I liked Sai. I I think Sai was just like the cool, you know, I'm a really chill guy. I'm just gonna sit back and look out for my bro because he's really dumb in the ways of the world. Yeah, he was kind of like this street smart guy who knew what was up.
Yeah, I had a problem with how his character panned out simply because I didn't feel like him being this kind of cool, revered dude, he wouldn't be looking like that.
Yeah, that was really weird though, wasn't it? How everyone was like, "Oh man, it's Sai. It's like, you know, it's Captain Wow over here."
I mean, like if he had a more appropriately size of trouser, and he got rid of the orange wetsuit, jump vest, freaking bomber bum thing, he'd be all right and had a haircut. But no.
So you're saying if he dressed like Joey, he'd be alright? Silence.
Ebby's just said that made the sacrifice that Sai made so pointless and shit. Not sure what that was in reference to.
Table flip.
Oh god. Ebby, do you want to try talking?
No, she doesn't.
No.
No.
We can hear you.
No, I made that point to something like 5 minutes ago and you just ignored
Sorry.
it, so whatever.
Sorry. It's because I was... What was that in reference to?
I don't fucking remember now!
A lot of it did kind of feel like they brought in Sai's sort of backstory just to try and make Will not seem like a complete asshole. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
Will couldn't possibly be an evil dude because of this thing that happened a while back, which
Well,
made
we
me...
did... And we did kind of need that, otherwise him actually being a cripple would have been completely pointless if it wasn't kind of tied into something.
Maybe they didn't intend him to be like that at first, and then when they decided, oh, we need to have this backstory with Will to try and make Will not seem like a complete arsehole, we better make Sai a cripple.
Yeah, pretty much. Which kind of works. Ebby, do you want to see if you can actually talk properly now? Now we've given it a bit of a rest.
I don't really have anything to say.
Alright, next time you do, start talking. Hopefully,
Yeah, man.
it'll be good.
Yeah, and then it
Did
won't
you?
work, and I'll just get sad.
I liked
sad.
Sai. Like, I think his character was a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah,
In that situation where, like, if he was being a bit of a show off on a football field and that led to him getting injured to the point where he couldn't play
Yeah.
anymore, I don't think the other people that he was friends with at the time would kind of be like that. You know, when Sai comes in and is like, leave Joey alone, they wouldn't listen to him anymore because he's not important to them anymore.
It's true.
Like, even
I guess,
I suppose Will thought it was his fault, so
Yeah.
I suppose that makes
whole
sense in a way.
situation
but-
of it being Will's fault felt a bit loose because it was literally like Will didn't throw the ball correctly, but it was still Sai and the other guy involved in the injury. Will didn't hit him with a hammer or something.
Yeah, but I think the idea is Will did blame himself. They do
Yeah.
make it like at first.
Wasn't
when
it because he threw the ball a bit weird?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
because he threw the ball. It was weird. But I
But
mean,
he
like,
wasn't the guy who like tackled Sai in the knee
no.
really sloppily, and it wasn't.
That's what, because you know when they showed the random clip, really early on before they did the full flashback, and you saw Will there and Sai on the ground.
It really
I assumed it was just Will had just done this gnarly tackle with
Yeah.
his kind of 8-yard wide shoulders.
It really makes it look like Will has done something to be a complete arsehole. Like my thought was something along the lines of Sai was like their star player and Will was jealous, so he crippled him.
Something like that. But yeah, I think my main thing about Sai is that he was less necessary than the other main
Yeah.
characters, and
He
just
really
generally
was.
all around less interesting to me just because of his position in the story. And
But Joey
yes,
needed him.
Joey needed him. Yeah.
Joey did need him, but
So it don't matter what we think, Joey needed him.
he did. But he still looked like a right knob. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Do we need to talk about the teacher lady? She is in our picture here.
Mrs. Collins, I just want to say one more thing about Sai. That you're like, he couldn't wear his helmet properly. Because you know how he had his helmet with the little spade symbol on the front? When he throws it to Holly for her to put on, she puts it on the other way around. So I'm just going to go with one of them's wearing it the wrong way around. It's probably
It's
Sai.
probably not Holly.
Holly knows what's going on. I love that scene where they put the helmets on was brilliant. Because it was just like, road safety. It's like, oh no, but now Holly's not going to have a helmet. Yes, she is.
Sai's in. That's the reason they wrote him in. That was the whole reason they wrote him in. Holly's going to need a helmet.
I'm wearing hot pants and a crop top. I'm about to ride this dirt bike, but I'm fine because I've got a freaking bicycle helmet on.
Yeah, man. Heroman logic. It's
Love
the
it.
best. It's totally the best.
Okay.
Yeah,
Should
man.
we talk about Holly?
Like, I love Holly. She's awesome. I wish she was my big sister.
She's a really, really good big sister character.
And she looked like Nana. So.
Yeah.
I kind of went more extensively into Holly than any other character early on, actually.
Hmm.
Just reiterating, she was wonderful. She filled her role well. She came
Yeah.
across as a bit of a knob at the start, but that was all justified in everything else.
She was always there for Joey when he needed her.
And she was a nice singer.
Yeah.
And I liked how she did that little solo, and she just had a bass, and then all of a sudden drums start playing. It's like, oh, and then a guitar starts playing. I'm just going to assume they were all on a little tape next to her.
Yeah, man.
Otherwise, this isn't Utapri. We're not doing that.
It'd be
No.
like that scene actually in Nana where it's just the guy playing the guitar and Nana singing. Oh.
Yep.
But yeah, Holly was great. I liked her design as well because she was just so unlike any of the other characters.
Yeah.
She
had like purple on her.
Yeah,
It was
she
great.
stood out like a sore thumb, and she was like the exact like her top was the exact opposite of Joey's. It was purple and black.
Yeah,
That was
Not
cool.
yellow and white.
Yeah,
I'm
it's cool.
freaking like everyone wore stripes in that show.
Yeah, man.
That's
I think
the stripes are the best.
They are pretty good.
FYI.
I don't own any striped clothing. I feel bad now.
I want more striped clothing. I don't own enough.
Oh.
You
So
need a yellow and white striped hoodie.
yeah,
and a
and,
leather
and, a,
jacket.
and a leather jacket and some skinny
Do
jeans.
you remember when I started when I started watching Hero Man? Do you remember how long I spent on eBay trying to find something like that? I spent hours.
Because
Oh, no,
Joey's
I'm
got
getting
to
used to
swag.
Christmas.
No, just get like a yellow hoodie and some paint.
Yeah. could do that.
Alternatively, a white hoodie.
And some paint. The answer is paint.
Speaking of paint, that is something very visual, much like the visuals of this show, which are amazing.
I want to talk about the OST and soundtrack
Oh.
and stuff.
We will do.
Oh,
Okay, the show
so
looked
good.
amazing because it was a Burn show.
Mhm.
Some of the in-betweens, occasionally, were a bit sketchy. There were some CGI vehicles. Other than that, top job. Looked wonderful.
Hero Man looked
Double
great.
thumbs up. Yeah, he did.
Like Hero Man's design was fantastic because like he was this big robot dude, and but in a way he still kind of looked like a toy.
Yeah,
That's what I really liked about him.
Because like there were times when I just thought, is he actually made of plastic?
My Hero Man is
And
made
also,
of plastic.
I honestly really like the designs of the Scrug
Yeah,
because an alien design that doesn't look like another alien design, at least in my head.
when they got killed, they went retracted back into their Scrug Pokeballs.
Yeah, which made no sense because the ones at the end didn't.
Yeah, they just
And
exploded.
what happened to those balls? Like, were they just there, or were those what turned into the other ones at the end? Is that how the Scrug stuck around?
Can I just say, the thing that I did notice about the animation was when it was a bit darker in tone, the animation definitely reflected that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that-
like
ju-
the
the-
lines were thicker and it was all.
The bit where Will got
grim.
introduced is all I'm going to say. When they went, we're going to change the animation style to make it really dark and gritty because Will's
It's just-
back.
That was them just utilizing lighting
Yeah.
exceptionally well
It was
because the lighting in
fantastic.
those scenes were like just because it was like it's the police car, and everything directly around the police lights was normal.
Mhm.
And then as soon as you got to like where the light was going and the shadows, and that was all done in this really like epic noir style, it really worked. Like the bit where the policemen walk around the corner, and you just see like their silhouettes and everything, and then you see Will on the other side. It just looked amazing.
Can I just say the sound effect of the Scrug eyes is my favourite thing in the universe. That's
It
like
wasn't-
wow. Pro, I loved it, and they knew that I loved it because they played it every 5 seconds. Is there a
Yeah, they
Scrug?
did.
Its eyes are going to turn on and it's going to make
You
that
know what
noise.
else- you know what sound effect I loved? The clicky sound of the thing that Joey has that goes on his arm when he goes to engage. When it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a little circle. The click
Oh yeah,
where he just holds it and he has to click it. And it's like,
Yeah.
and it just goes. That sound is so.
Hero Man,
It's so good. I love it.
engage.
And the music was the thing as well.
Hey Ebby, do you want to talk about the music?
Do you want to
So
give that?
bad. Right.
It's rubbish on it.
I want to talk about OPs and EDs first. I know you're more partial to roulette, probably.
Because roulette's awesome and it's really like happy and
I think I preferred the second OP for some reason.
The second OP was my favourite, and also ED2. is one of my favourite songs from anime ever. It's by a band called Masala, and it's amazing. And the other thing that I liked about that, tell me if I ever start breaking up, the other thing that I liked about that was the animation that they did, where it was like they drew a picture of Joey in like a real American city, and then they had the animation over it.
The only problem with those was it made them look really, really small. Do you notice that there's that bit where Lena's sitting on the bench and she just looks tiny, and then it pans around to Joey standing by a tree, and in comparison to the tree he looks really tiny. It's hilarious. But I think I really like the second opening. The second opening, like if you look at it critically, it's probably a better and more enjoyable song, but I feel like Roulette kind of had more of the energy that the show, like it was, I felt like it encapsulated what Heroman was
I'll
better.
agree with that. I enjoyed the second opening, but if I were to say this show only has one opening, which one do I get rid of? I get rid of the second one.
Yeah.
I keep the first opening because that opening is so Heroman.
Because Roulette is it is Heroman.
It is so catchy. It's so just like, this is everything the show encapsulates. I just preferred the song to the second one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Do you
Critically,
think they changed it because it was they changed sort of like midway, the mood of the show changed? Because they could have had another opening just like the first one, really.
Did
They
the
could've.
opening change after the second arc, or was it like in the middle?
No,
it
during
changed in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's, I wouldn't really say that because it was changing in the middle of an arc. If they
But
change
do you
it,
think do you think they chose that song because it reflected things to do with like Joey's dad and stuff later on?
I think it was a bit more. It's a bit more
away.
down to earth, because the second arc,
Yeah.
the second and third arc. Well, the second arc was a little bit more down to earth, and then of course,
the
the third arc was just crazy. Yeah.
Oh, I just want to talk about that ED some more. Like the second ED is just
It's a
incredible.
really, really good song.
It's one of
Can
my
I
favorite.
just say, I don't think I actually watched either of the ED.
You missed out, man.
I
You
like
gotta
I
go
like
to
the
that
first
show.
ending because it was a comic book and Hero Man played basketball and played the basketball, baseball, and he played the drums. They're all a band, like Joey's singing, Sai's on a guitar, Denton's on bass, Lena's on a keyboard, and Hero Man's just at the back going, yeah, I'm
The
Hero
problem
Man.
is, I don't remember the first ED at all. I watched it like 5 times.
It's the one that goes do 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 do. Like, yeah,
Oh.
it's calling. It's calling for yourself.
It's calling for yourself.
He even writes it at the end. Hero
Oh,
Man wrote that,
I
you know
remember
it.
that bit. I remember that bit.
Yeah.
I love.
The music.
Soundtrack.
My favourite track from like the entire OST was the combat theme, which is the one that was all like really. It had like the operatic people in it, but it was all like choppy and had like techno-y bits and piano and.
Are you on about the
it's
song
good.
that goes, "You are my hero," like a bunch?
No.
Because I like that song because it
That
was
song
really,
was good.
really.
And then, like I said before, Dr. Manami's theme just made me
Dr.
laugh
Manami's theme was amazing.
because it was all techno-y and awesome, and then it just had like it was just funky, crazy. There's the only bits
And
I
I love
remember.
the that kind of melodic, more serious song they used in all the emotional bits.
Yeah.
That
Just
was really good.
the OST in
song,
general.
The track they used in the big reveal of what's in his hat. That track was amazing.
Don't talk about
Will's theme was really good as well because it was proper.
Was that like the metal one?
It was. Oh, I can't remember now, but it was. You'd know it was Will's theme straight away because it was like really dark and gritty. It was like, oh, yeah, oh, you'd know what Will's about because the music is all. Oh, you might as well be watching like Batman or something.
Yeah.
You are my hero.
Alien insect
Oh,
Batman.
Does that lead us into our final thoughts?
Might do. 10:25. So probably. I really need
It's
a wee.
time. It's time.
25 past
Is
10.
there anything? Oh, 10:25. See, I'm so tired. I just don't have a concept of time
Oh, this is our
anymore.
longest one yet.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's
No, it will be
crazy.
by the time we finish. Yeah.
Crazy,
Yeah, we'll
mate.
finish.
It's because we've had a lot to say about this show.
It's because we're making the most of fucking Justin
Yeah.
TV VODs while they're around.
Yeah, well, we've got them. My computer is not going to be my friend after next week or next episode. Jeez. I need to find out how to record stuff using OBS.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we'll sort that
that's
out.
beyond
Anyway,
that's beyond the point.
who's starting with their final verdicts?
Hang on,
So
is there anything
second
else?
someone.
Is there anything else anyone would like to add that they can think of at the top of their head before we move into the final thoughts?
I don't think so.
Other characters or bits that they liked or stuff.
All of
Grandma.
it.
Best
Grandma.
character in
Best
any
character,
anime.
Grandma.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, she was so adorable.
The
I want her to be my
the lady assistant of Dr. Minami looked like she had an octopus on her. Well, not an octopus, a squid on her head, and that was genius.
She did.
And then she turned into Taukaka at the end with a
Yeah, she did.
stationary claws. She was
Oh.
hilarious. Can I just say, she was so sassy. It was awesome.
She never did anything apart from like
She
helping
never,
him
she never
out.
did. She never did anything apart from whenever Dr. Minami would say anything, she'd be like, "Yes, are you sure?
Maybe. Which
Okay."
leads us to believe she is literally just a robot.
Probably is. She's the MR0.
There's no other
That was-
reason to follow
oh.
that frick around.
That's what I was gonna say. The random, like a couple of like, the MR1. I just felt so sorry for the MR1 throughout the entire thing. I was saying this to Emily while we were watching it. I feel sorry for the MR1 because he was under the control of an asshole. He was just he was a robot and he wanted a robot friend, and he found Heroman and he was like, "Oh, wicked! I'm gonna have a robot friend," and then he got killed.
They had to beat up each other.
Long story short, it made me really happy when Professor Denton went, "Yeah, we're going to use the MR1 to save Heroman and make him awesome."
Yeah.
And Charlie was like, "Yes, the MR1 gets to be awesome," and it was. I liked
Alright.
when they gave him fists as well.
Whew, I'm sweating. Final thoughts.
Anyway, yes, done. I'm done now.
Final thoughts. Let's go for Cam first.
Do I really need to say anything?
Yes.
Okay, so
I agree with everything he's about to say.
I love Heroman. I love Heroman so much, and I'm really sad that I finished it now because it is over, genuinely over, and that makes me sad. But, however, I'm really glad that I did at the same time because the final few episodes of Heroman were incredible. Like I just loved the whole like climax and thing. It was just great, and it was a fantastic amalgamation of everything that had happened building up to that one point. And it was great. It used everything. The series as a whole is a bit disjointed and a little bit messy at times, but it really does manage to take everything and put it all together into this one epic moment that was just it was so good. And I'm glad that I finished it as well because when I stopped watching it last time, I was starting to get bored of it. Like when Will first turned up, I was like, "What's happening now, really?" And I was kind of like, "Where is this going?" I wasn't quite sure where it was going. And now that I know where it was going and where it went, it's good. Do I need to give a rating for this?
You do.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 10. I'm giving it a 10. Yeah, man.
That's the
That's our
first 10 of anime
That's our
club.
first 10.
It's 10.
That's our
I'm
first
going
10.
to give it a 10 because I'm Tensei Twister. It's in my name. Nah,
Yeah, well.
it's just
I
just
kind of expected you to give it a really
if
high
someone was to turn around and say to me, what do you like in an anime? I would just be like, watch Hero Man. And like
Yeah.
I said at the very start of Club as well, it takes two things that I really like and marries them together perfectly, and that is anime and comic books, like the generic action anime and generic superhero comic books, and just slams them together with Stanley's face printed on the front. Hero Man, whoa! Yoroshiku.
Yoroshiku.
Yeah.
Alright, Alan.
Everything Cam just said. This show is one that, upon rewatching it, as someone who reviews anime and everything, I know it's not a perfect show. It is full of cliche, as I said. It is full of all these plot points that have been done again and again and again, and it's got its problems. But I absolutely adore this show because it gives me a feeling that I have not gotten from an anime ever since I watched Digimon as a child. It gives me this kind of warm, nostalgic, like, everything's gonna be okay, fighting to protect the world, just amazing, euphoric feeling of happiness at what I am seeing that I just pretty much haven't gotten from anything else. It is just such a fun series. The characters are all immensely lovable, and I just want to put absolute faith in everyone that's working towards this goal of saving the world. Saving the world being such a cliched thing for people to do at the end of a series, but I actually care about it in this instance.
Mm-hmm.
It ticked every box pretty much, and whilst it does have its flaws, it is a wonderful series, and it gets a 9.
Yeah, it's
an actual 9. I love this show. I really do love this show because
High five.
What it does.
High 9.
High 9. What it does well. And I completely understand why some people don't like it. I completely understand why some people write it off, give it a low rating. But honestly, the show knows what it is. It knows what it's trying to be, and it succeeds in spades. Boom.
Yeah.
Over to you, Abby. I hate it. 2 out of 10.
Oh god. The video's frozen.
Oh no, that's the worst possible time for this to happen.
Oh god, yours is frozen as well.
Oh god.
It's the scrug. Oh no, yours is back. Yours is back. Ebby's isn't back.
Alright, I'll turn myself on and off again.
It's panda.
We can't hear you.
Ebby gives it a panda out of 10.
Oh my god, that's
To be fair, that is a really fucking good rating.
You're back.
So
You're
is it
back
my
now.
go?
Yeah. You're back now. It's all good.
Can you hear me? Can
Yes.
you see me? Is
Yes.
everything fine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it my go?
Yes.
Yes, it is your go.
Are you stalling for time now?
No, I've just gotta go real fast, okay? I love Heroman. I love the characters. It's animated beautifully. It sounds amazing. It's so good. I'm glad that we did an episode on it. 8 out of 10.
So banging. That is the highest collective rating we've given to anything.
Yeah,
So
hopefully, us preaching about it, even though no one's watching this right now because all our viewers pissed off. People will discover this show one day, and people will like Hero Man.
Yeah, mum.
Hopefully.
The OKKO Anime
Oh,
Club
and I wish
verdict.
there was a season 2. There we go.
Yeah,
That's my
same.
fault.
I wish there was a season 2. I'm not quite sure where it would go, but who cares?
As
Hero Man.
I have said before, somewhere, I don't remember where, if I ever met a genie, and I was given 3 wishes, one of those wishes is reserved for Hero Man Season 2.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The OKKO Anime Club verdict for Hero Man is fuck off and watch Hero Man.
Even though you already have.
Even though you already have, get your friends to watch Hero
apart
Man.
from everyone else, Steenus, go watch Hero Man. You're the only person who hasn't seen it. Please watch Hero Man. It's amazing.
If we could just get one person,
Yeah, if we can.
one
get
convert.
one person.
I
to
am
watch.
curious how many people watched Hero Man because of this anime club.
If even
So-
one, I am happy.
Ken Ross did.
Yeah. And he didn't like it.
He didn't like it, but who's
He
surprised?
doesn't like anything.
Yeah, because who's surprised at that really?
Love you, Ken Ross, but you're a miserable
Okay.
bastard sometimes.
But with that said, I has been back a sheafed. Joining me as always are the wonderful pair of Bizarre Jelly 5 and Tensei Twister.
Can someone like send me a Heybo, please? I'll review it, figure it out.
And
And
we'll
then you're
be
gonna
seeing-
leave your windows open purposely.
Oh, I wanna redo the Hero Man review and then have it at the end. It gets struck by
Well, yeah.
lightning. I'll be like, I might do that. I might have to
And
just
then you
redo the
get a
entire thing.
big coming towards. No, get the leaner figure, review that, and then have Hero Man happen in that.
I could
There
do
you go.
actually.
Okay, but on the 14th of
Which
June,
one-
in
hang on.
2 weeks' time.
Sorry, just a random thing. Ex Brokenheart in the chat watched Gatchaman crowds because of us.
Yeah, did you
So-
like it?
I also watched Gatchaman crowds because of
Yeah, but that's because you had to.
Yeah, hopefully, next time we see you on the 14th of June for the episode on Free Iwatobi Swim Club, we will be joined by Kenneth Belido, Ken, Full Circle Reviews, Fullo Anime, whatever you want to call him, the lovely Chinese guy with a beautiful face. Hopefully,
He's a
not
very
gonna have any
handsome man,
problems.
isn't he?
He is gorgeous.
Yeah, he is. He's got wonderful hair.
I think his figures are real nice.
Yeah, man. And for anyone who doesn't know who Ken is, he's amazing. Look Full O Anime on YouTube. You'll see what he's like. He's bloody good at what he does.
And we're gonna talk about Free.
If his figure videos are like comparable to the Mona Lisa, then my
Yeah.
figure reviews are the Beano. That's how I compare the pair of us.
But yeah,
And it's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because I mean, Jimmy's problem, obviously, it was a shame he couldn't join us, but he had some legitimate issues. I'm 100% certain that those aren't going to be issues that are going to be happening to Ken next week. So we'll have our first guest next week, in 2 weeks' time. and we will all see you then.
Ta-ra!
Ta-ra! Bye, zipper, bye, bye, bye.
Heroman!
Disengage!
Disengage!
Except not really.
What?